Welcome to my guide on how to start your own remote business in the political risk field in 2026. However, this guide is not for everybody. If you are left of center on the political spectrum, then this guide is not for you. Instead, I would highly recommend applying for one of the major political risk firms. You would be better suited for them because you will not be able to compete against them in the marketplace. This could be the PRS Group, Eurasia Group, or the Wall Street Journal. Left of center atheists are the only exception to this rule. I think most atheists are capable of being objective, creative, and open minded to some degree. This guide is more suited for moderates, centrists, and people that are right of center. Although right of center pagans and polytheists will have the strongest advantage in this field, especially if you are planning to focus on Asia, because most of Asia is pagan. Also, I do not think this field is suited for most Christians. If you are not Catholic or Mormon as a Christian, then I would recommend picking a different industry to enter. Being successful in this field requires a lot of knowledge, common sense, and an open mind. I think being successful on your own in this field is too complicated for most people. If you are still with me this far into the video, then you have won the lottery, because I am going to walk you through everything that I am doing. This guide will be split into two parts. The first part will cover the basics. This will be your credentials and everything you need to know. The second part will cover the business side of things. I was originally going to turn this into a series, but I decided to just put everything into one video. I will be doing the rest of this video off the top of my head, and I am not editing it. So I apologize if you hear any background noise. I have an air conditioner that is constantly running, 2 rabbits and 11 chickens. It is currently 101 degrees out. Background noise is out of my control. If I forget anything, then I will make another video. But if you follow this guide, then you will be doing what I am doing. You will also be able to make a lot more money than the people that are working for the major political risk firms. Let the fun begin. Part 1, the basics. So you're going to need a college degree in this particular field if you are doing this alone, because you're going to need something to back you up. I highly recommend getting an MBA and one of these degrees below it: a political science degree, a history degree, a linguistics degree, or a comparative religion degree. And all political risk certifications are trash. Do not waste your time on them. But comparative religion degrees are highly underrated in this field. Now, there is an alternative to college degrees. You can start a Substack, you can write articles on LinkedIn, you can start a YouTube channel, or you can use Coursera and rack up courses through them. But you will need at least one degree to back you up, because nobody is going to take you seriously in this field if you have no credentials whatsoever. Step 2. You are going to want to pick a region of the world. And you're going to want to make sure that this region of the world interests you. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt out. So you have Africa, the Americas, Europe, Asia, and Oceania. Pick one. Pick a country or a state in the region that you just chose. So you're going to pick a state that you want to specialize in. This state must be within the region that you picked. Pick only one state. Do not pick more than one state when you are just starting off, because you're not going to have the brain space for it. Focus on one, and then you can move to another if you want later down the road. You are not Superman. You do not know everything. Outsource what you need to somebody else that knows what you don't know. Step 4, pick 2 languages. You're going to pick a language to learn that the state that you are focusing on uses. So pick the language of the state that you are focusing on, and you're also going to want to pick one mandatory language from the mandatory list. This will help you out in the long term, not the short term. But you will want to pick Spanish, Mandarin, Arabic, Russian, German, or French. This will allow you to expand later down the road. Step 5, you're going to want to study history. And you will want to go back as far as World War I and the Cold War. However, depending on which country you're focusing on, you might be better off going back to the 1800s. This would be the case with Indonesia. And this works because there is a lot of history that is written down in the 1800s about Indonesia. So it's really well recorded. Now you will want to focus on perceived history and not necessarily real history. So you will want to focus on the history that is mainstream and that everybody knows, because that is the history that is going to move markets. It is not the real history of what actually happened. Keynesian economics. I dislike Keynesian economics. I personally prefer Austrian economics. Unfortunately, the world does not revolve around Austrian economics. It revolves around Keynesian economics. So Keynesian economics is what you should be studying and learning for this field. Everything else is kind of irrelevant. Political realism. I have several videos on this channel dedicated to political realism, and you should just go watch them. They're all good starting points. But you should have a background in political realism because it will help you see what's going to happen in the future. The news is your friend. You should be reading the news every day for like an hour a day. You do not have to believe what's in the news, but the news will give you a general idea of what is happening in your country that you picked and the region of the world that you picked. Data analysis. So you will want to keep a journal or a Microsoft Word document with important events that you come across in your region and country. This is important events that you have read from the news. This way you can connect the dots later down the road. Marketing. You are creating a business by yourself. Nobody else is creating your business for you. So you are going to have to market yourself if you want your business to go anywhere. So I would personally learn some marketing skills so you can market yourself in the marketplace. Artificial intelligence. You should use AI to help you streamline things. AI is perfectly useful for finding obscure topics and ideas for the region or state that you're focusing on. It's also good for finding articles and condensing news into a single space for you to see. Anyway, AI is extremely useful and you should just use it. Geopolitics, you should study the geopolitics of the region that you chose and the state that you chose. But you can just watch my Geopolitics with the God series that will help you out immensely in this field. America's everywhere. Everybody should know this by now. You should study America on top of the state that you chose and the region that you chose, because America has tentacles everywhere, and America is likely to interfere in the state that you are researching or studying. So you should know everything about America. You should study the law and regulations of the country and region that you chose. So you should study the foreign policy, the import-export laws and regulations, trade laws, and international law. And I would also recommend doing this for America too. Religion. You should study the religion of the country you are specializing in because the religion tends to have an impact on the populations living within that country. And it is just extremely useful for understanding the country that you are working on. Culture, it's the same thing as religion. Religion is going to help shape the culture of the people that you are studying, and the state that you are studying, and the region that you are studying. So you should know the religion of the state and the culture of the state. And if you don't know the culture, this can backfire on you wildly. So I highly recommend studying the culture of the state. Ideology, leave your personal views at the door, view the world for what it is, and please do not be like Peter Zeihan or Ian Bremmer, who get paid tens of thousands of dollars to be wrong on everything. Don't be them. You want to be the guy or the woman that gets all the shots called correctly, not the people that get everything wrong. Part 2, the business. First, you're going to pick a name for your business. Make it something political risk related or something that sticks out from the crowd. Next, you're going to want to set up a PayPal account because you need to get paid. So you need somewhere people can send you money. It doesn't have to be PayPal though. Prices. You are going to want to figure out how much your political risk reports will cost. But they shouldn't be too pricey, but they should be underneath what the market price is going for. The advantage of being an individual with your own business is that you can outcompete your competitors. The problem is figuring out how much money you want people to spend on you. But just make sure that you are undercutting the market, but not undercutting it so much where your political risk reports aren't being viewed as good. Because if you charge somebody $25 for one, it's not going to be viewed as a good political risk report in this particular field. Step 4, create an InnerPals account. You're going to need to network, and so I recommend creating an InnerPals account and networking with the people in the country that you are working on, or the region that you are working on. Framework. You're going to want to create a framework for your political risk reports, and you're going to make sure you standardize it so you can scale your business at some point in the future. So if you create a framework, you're going to make sure that, say you're doing a political risk report on China, you're going to make sure that you can use that same political risk report for Japan or Thailand or Israel or something. I highly recommend standardizing your framework and your political risk reports. It'll help you so much in the long term. Free report. Now you're going to create a free political risk report that you can hand out to potential clients. I would probably argue that your political risk report or your free one should be 5 to 10 pages. Next up, you're going to create a LinkedIn account. This is the meat and potatoes of the business. You're going to need a LinkedIn account. Next up, you're going to register your business, officially create your business, and I would probably go with a consulting business. Next up, you're going to start your LinkedIn business. You are going to cold message any businesses you come across that you think could use a political risk report. Lure them in with a free political risk report, see who bites, and then write articles on your profile. And then basically go from there. Be nice to small businesses, though, and individuals, but feel free to prey on corporations. Embrace your inner American, and I don't know how I can stress this enough, but you need to embrace your inner American. Your job is to make a profit and make money, because if you're not making money, you're losing money. So you need to embrace your inner American and not your inner Soviet. There are a lot of people in 2026 that have decided to embrace their inner Soviet, and you don't want to do that. Instead, you embrace your inner American and you grind. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day or night.